Mikey, Mikey, your hands can't hit what your eyes can't see.
Mike Tyson, an unstoppable force forged through brutal old-school discipline. Jake Paul, the social media phenom who's rewriting the playbook with high-tech scientific precision. But when raw power meets modern strategy, who really has the edge? Tyson's training philosophy has always been one of unrelenting physicality, designed to break limits and harden both mind and body. Under the guidance of his legendary trainer Cus D'Amato, Tyson was drilled with workouts that tested endurance and mental fortitude to the extreme.
Michael Tyson, a wild, angry teenager from a nearby reform school.
Keep the head down when you come up with the H. Keep your head down. Yeah, I mean, it's not coming up, but it's starting to come up. You can make it perfect. It's good, but it's not perfect.
Cus, who never married or had children, adopted Michael, took him into his home, taught him about...
Tyson's conditioning is famously grueling. His daily routine once included over 2,000 sit-ups, squats, and neck exercises to build that rock-solid foundation that allowed him to take devastating hits and keep pressing forward.
Later in my boxing career, I started using weights, doing a lot of benching and doing sprints. Yeah, a lot of abs, everything. It was just a beautiful time in life.
What would you do for abs?
Throw the medicine ball back and forth, the medicine ball. This, and I would do 2,500 then.
When we started adding core work in, was a concept of not just the core shred workouts, which we do have for the abs, but also the stabilization.
It's not about working hard, it's about working smart.
Unlike today's fighters who alternate muscle groups with rest days, Tyson's training was a relentless full-body affair. His power and explosiveness were sculpted through compound exercises without the luxury of recovery-focused routine. Critics argued that such intense conditioning is punishing for a fighter in his 50s. Could pushing his body so hard in training actually backfire against Paul, leaving him depleted and injury-prone? For Tyson, training wasn't just about building a body, it was about constructing a mental fortress. D'Amato's methods often involved psychological warfare, drilling Tyson on techniques to remain unfazed under pressure, an edge Tyson believes will serve him against the younger, more inexperienced Paul. Tyson's sparring is old school, relentless, tough, and brutal. In the ring, he simulates the exact intensity he'll bring on fight night, often testing his body against bigger, more powerful fighters.
Are there any considerations when you're moving your head, like you're trying to get your head out of the center line?
No, well, you want to get out the center, but the objective for him to throw the punch before you can counter. And if he throws the punch here, you count here, you go to here, and you're still outside.
So you want them to miss, and when they miss, that's your opportunity.
Absolutely. Sometimes you can punch while he's punching, you can throw boom at the same time. As he punches, boom, and you go down.
Absolutely.
It's all about moving after you punch. As soon as you punch, you're gone.
While Tyson's mental strength is undeniable, there's a question of whether he's adapted enough to modern fight pacing. Could a younger, fresher Jake Paul capitalize on that brutal, non-stop approach if Tyson starts to fatigue? In contrast, Jake Paul's training is a symphony of science and strategy, fine-tuned by expert trainers and enhanced with cutting-edge technology. Jake's camp incorporates advanced analytics, heart rate monitors, high-tech recovery tools, and force measuring equipment that provide real-time feedback on his punches and endurance. His camp uses this data to tailor each session, ensuring he trains at optimal levels while avoiding overexertion.
What you doing today?
Warm up, we got upper body. Nice little pump, you know.
While Tyson pushes his body to the max, Paul's focus is on mastering efficient movement, which might give him an edge in speed and energy conservation. His tech-driven approach aims to keep him fresh and sharp, potentially outlasting Tyson if the fight goes beyond those high-stakes early rounds. Tyson's go hard or go home philosophy might skip the finesse that Paul's team believes will make the difference. Purists argue that no amount of tech can substitute for experience and grit. Can a lab-tested, data-driven strategy really prepare Paul for the brutal, unpredictable style Tyson brings?
All of it's this. This is all twisting this for like golf. When you this, everything's there.
That's how you get the power?
Yeah.
What is it that you're doing there? You're really shifting your weight,
Yeah,
right?
it's balance.
Yeah. You know what I noticed about your punches? A lot of times people will teach you want to punch and retract, but with you, every punch is a knockout punch where you
Yeah, I
follow
go with
through.
it. I go with it. Everything like boom.
Yeah.
I go through with it. Boom.
Every punch you throw like that.
Yeah.
In a fight where experience and raw aggression clash with science and precision, it's unclear which approach has the real edge. Paul's camp is betting that his conditioning and modern methodology will ultimately neutralize Tyson's brawn, but that's assuming the data holds up under the pressure of the real thing.
Movement's great, agility is great,
13, 14, breathe.
conditioning is amazing, power is unbelievable.
Nice one.
That was the best we've seen him yet.
Step across that cross, ball. Hey, move.
It's gonna be a rough night.
Boxing is as much a mental game as a physical one, and this may be the arena where the true winner is decided. Tyson's legendary reputation and aggressive style give him a psychological edge. In the ring, that energy can unsettle opponents, and Paul may find himself struggling against Tyson's unshakable presence. But is Tyson too reliant on his Iron Mike legacy? Could underestimating Paul's mental resilience be his undoing?
Making history, this is what it's all about for me, man. I'm a kid from Ohio. Tyson, you were good 20 years ago. New York.
Tyson's confidence stems from a career of brutal victories, but some say it borders on blind faith, especially against a new-gen fighter like Paul who's willing to try anything to win. Paul may not have Tyson's reputation, but his confidence comes from being younger and with a more adaptable mindset. He's seen Tyson's past fights, and he's not easily intimidated. His camp believes his mental edge is in his discipline and ability to stick to a strategy under pressure.
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson's 57.
No, I don't give a how old Mike Tyson is. Have you seen Mike Tyson's punching?
I interviewed him a couple years ago. Yeah.
No, but I'm
he's a
saying
beast,
recently,
yeah.
like.
No, he's still fast.
So again, here's the thing. And this is gonna come out before that probably, right? So Jake Paul has got to condition himself for the actual sentence. I'm going to fight Mike Tyson, right? Because you disarm yourself when you say that. If you said it to yourself in the mirror and you were like, yo, I'm about to fight Mike Tyson, you instantly become a skinny, starving kid, just mentality-wise, right?
Critics argue that Paul's lack of big stage experience could shake him once he's standing across from a living legend. If Tyson brings his A game, will Paul's strategy be enough, or will he crumble under pressure?
So what Jake needs to do, this is my form of like training, is just say you're prepared for a fight. Do not say his name to yourself. Because every time you say Mike Tyson, you whoop your own ass.
Tyson is about instinct and intensity. Paul is about planning and poise. This clash of mentalities will dictate the pace and tone of the fight, shaping each fighter's strengths strengths and exploiting each other's weaknesses.
It's really basic, you know. It's just... Just pretty much jab. When he was jabbing, Canelo should be moving, flipping the jab for the final uppercuts. So he can anticipate the combination.
For Tyson, this is a chance to remind the world why he's an icon. For Paul, it's a test of his legitimacy. Both fighters are putting their reputations on the line, and the mental game will determine who walks out with pride and who may leave with regret. Both Tyson and Paul understand that footwork and technique are vital in determining who controls the ring. However, their approaches are vastly different, shaped by their distinct boxing philosophies.
You like what we do? You see it?
Tyson's style relies on explosive bursts, closing the distance to unleash powerful combinations. His famed peekaboo technique, taught by Cus D'Amato, is all about foot placement, evasion, and immediate counters, which could overwhelm Paul if he isn't prepared.
Tyson in his prime, where he was and terrifying. He was so fast, and he would do angles, and he was bobbing and weaving. You couldn't hit him, and he was just coming at you. I think that Mike Tyson is the best heavyweight of all time. I don't think anybody fucks with him.
However, at 58 years of age, can he still rely on the same level of speed and explosiveness that made him deadly in his prime? Critics argue that Tyson's footwork could slow down, making him vulnerable to a younger, more nimble fighter.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Unlike Tyson's aggressive footwork, Paul's training emphasizes efficiency, sidesteps, angles, and maintaining a safe distance while preparing his shots. His technique isn't about overwhelming power, but about positioning himself to maximize his reach and make the most of every punch. Paul's methodical movement might give him an advantage in energy conservation, allowing him to extend the fight, but can it hold up under Tyson's ferocious close-range attacks? This clash of styles will test Paul's discipline in sticking to a game plan versus Tyson's relentless pressure.
Don't charge at me, Tyson.
Footwork will determine who dominates the ring, but with such opposing styles, it's anyone's guess who will control the pace. Tyson may be able to corner Paul, forcing him into a brawl, while Paul's team hopes his controlled movement can expose Tyson's limitations. If Tyson's age or Paul's inexperience shows up in footwork, this aspect could dictate the fight's turning point. It's a battle of seasoned instinct against scientific strategy, and both fighters are wagering that their style will break the other's rhythm. Power has always been Tyson's calling card, while Paul's focus on accuracy reflects his methodical approach to training. These aspects highlight the contrasting ways they intend to inflict damage.
Mike Tyson, what he does is two-dimensional. He's gonna come at you, trying to knock you out. Now, you gotta try and stay away from him, stay away from his power. I seen him working out the other day, and he throws some good combinations. So those 6-punch combinations, he has to make sure, I'm talking Jake Paul, make sure that he's not in the way of those punches, because Tyson's a real fighter.
We saw him working out the other day. He's 57 years young. He still got it. He still got it in his eyes. He still got it in the body.
Oh yeah, no, Tyson can throw a punch, he can take a punch, so, you know, he's doing something that he's used to.
Even in his 50s, Tyson's punching power is a fearsome weapon. Known for his devastating knockouts, Tyson has maintained a raw, natural strength that few can replicate, hitting with enough force to flatten opponents. His power is the ultimate equalizer.
If Mike Tyson is healthy, and Mike Tyson is not high, I hear he gets high all the time, I think Mike Tyson could destroy Jake Paul in 30 seconds.
Despite Tyson's knockout power, age can compromise endurance. Critics argue that Tyson's power may diminish if the fight goes beyond the initial round, raising questions about whether he can rely on one-punch knockouts to secure a win. Paul's camp is laser focused on accuracy from day one, believing that clean shots will be more effective than raw power. By strategically aiming for weak points, Paul hopes to chip away at Tyson rather than going blow for blow. While Paul's approach might protect him from Tyson's immediate retaliation, it also places a lot of faith in technique over strength. Can his accuracy really offset the sheer force Tyson brings, or will the lack of knockout power leave him at a disadvantage?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 5.
In one corner, Tyson's knockout punch can end the fight in a second. In the other, Paul's camp believes that accuracy and patience will outlast brute force. Fans are divided on whether Tyson's raw power or Paul's precision is more effective in the ring's unforgiving environment.
What, is he 30 years younger? I just don't see this ending well for Uncle Mike Tyson.
Think Jake's got the speed factor?
Speed, I mean, power, even at this point. Jake's not a little guy. Jake's a big fella. He's just locked in. I think the rule set will play a role. You know, is it 2 minutes? Is it 4 rounds? Is it, you know, what is it gonna be? So I think that'll matter. I don't even know if that'll matter. I think Jake's gonna probably dominate.
Critics argue that Tyson's age will betray him, while others say Paul's lack of KO power could be his downfall. With both fighters prioritizing different strengths, the outcome could hinge on whether one strategy overpowers the other, or if Paul can find a way to neutralize Tyson's legendary force. This fight isn't just a test of skill, it's a showdown that could shape or shatter the legacies of both Tyson and Paul. With the stakes sky high, each fighter has everything to gain or lose.
He amazes me.
Jake Paul. Jake Paul.
A Tyson win would validate the enduring power of old school boxing, while a Paul victory would challenge traditional notions of what it takes to succeed in the sport. In either scenario, the fight is a gamble for both men's reputations.
Nice, come on, punch him. Yeah, yeah.
Physical training aside, the mental aspect is crucial in any fight, especially for Tyson and Paul, who both understand the impact of psychological tactics. Their mentalities reveal not just their commitment, but also their determination to prove something larger than themselves. The outcome of Tyson versus Paul isn't just about who wins. It's a clash of boxing's old school power against the precision of a modern approach. For Tyson, a win reaffirms that raw strength and legendary grit still reign supreme. For Paul, victory would prove that a data-driven strategy can topple even the most established giants. This fight will either uphold tradition or redefine it, with both fighters' legacies hanging in the balance. Who do you think has the real edge? Tyson's relentless power or Paul's calculated precision? Let us know your predictions in the comments below.